All right, what's going on, everybody? So, let's break this down. Wait till people get in here a little bit before I start talking. But essentially, the white supremacists are standing outside of a building. The cops just came out and pushed them back. Let's see. Sassy, I don't even know who that is. I'm sorry to tell you. Guys, I would appreciate engaging with the live, though. So, Jake Lang and his white supremacist cronies are essentially outside.
Absolutely, and just and she's always been one of those.
Let's take a listen. Let's try and see if we can pull it up here.
What's Paige Cognetti hiding after her liberal
indoctrination? Cares about fucking Paige Cognetti. See if I can pull this up here. Apparently,
show me your proof.
Pull up the Quran.
You pull it up.
I'm outside.
Don't you have a phone?
So Jake Lang and his white supremacist cronies are all invading Dearborn, Michigan. There's a bunch of them outside, apparently.
Prove it to me. Where's the Quran? Where's whatever your phone?
I thought she was about to take off her shirt. I was like, oh shit, we gotta switch the scene. I thought she was gonna like,
and they're like demanding. They're like demanding that people like do shit. It's insane. Let me see if I can pull this up on make this easier. Hold on a second. So I can get a live that's like going on right now.
Appreciate you, brother. God bless you.
So I can bring this up so we can watch it. 210 Rain Christopher, thank you so much, dude. Appreciate you. Oh, yeah, the cops were so gentle with them. But the reason I'm pointing it out, right? The reason I'm pointing it out.
Watch out, you're about to pop a blood vessel. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm trying to pull this up without interference here, folks. Hold on one second. It's insane to me. It's freaking insane to me that these idiots cry about like ICE protests and now they're in Dearborn fucking harassing people, burning Qurans. I just really hope that nobody reacts to it because, you know, that's what they want. So right now, there's literally a city council meeting happening currently, like as we speak right now. And I guess this protest has to do with that, I'm assuming. Let's take a look. Hold on. Sorry. I'm just like hearing about this right before I come on, so.
Take a look at this poop
Why
chart.
does this keep fucking bringing up a commercial here? What the fuck? Here's the city council meeting.
And the city's match of $7,260. Any questions or comments on this item?
So I guess they're protesting that. Is that what they're protesting? Okay. They're all just like outside of the fucking. It's insane. See, this is BG.
Okay. That's I'm gonna walk down here and come back.
Oh my God! Look at them with their "Don't Tread on Me" flags.
You literally drove 6 hours out of the way to come start shit. That's what you did. You drove 6 hours away to start shit. I believe in God. I want to ask you right. I pray to God as Jesus Christ, as a Christian, as a human being. If I saw
the loving Christians.
Quran, slap bacon on the Quran, I would beat the fuck out of them too.
Hold on. That's against the law. That's violent. Hold on.
If I saw someone, hold on. Burn a Quran, I would beat the fuck out of them.
That's against the law.
Disrespectful, anti-Muslim, you know what I'm saying? We are anti-pedophile. Anti-pedophile. Fuck your jizya. Fuck your Muhammad.
You want me to put it in goat voice so you understand it?
Jake Lang is such a loser.
Hold on. I want to make it very clear for everybody. Hold on. Guys, chill. Are they allowed, Jake Lang, is he allowed to burn the Quran? I'm asking you. Yes, he is. Under the Sixth Circuit of Cincinnati, Bible believer, okay? Verse 20. I do case law every day. I got a case every day.
They're trying to provoke
Are we allowed to burn the Bible? Yes. If you get mad, burn the Bible. It's the First Amendment. You get mad, right? Is it freedom of speech? You go ahead and burn whatever you want. Listen, you can burn the Bible and you can burn the Quran. Under the Sixth Circuit of Cincinnati. Everybody ruled on it. It's been ruled. But hold on. It's a hate. And you want to make peace.
Hey, what does Jesus say about the neighbor and the enemy? What does he say? What does he say? What does Jesus say? What does Jesus say about
So, this is Jake Lang and his cronies in Dearborn. Chanting Jesus. I wonder how many of these people were at January 6th. Oh my God, look, a gigantic Trump truck. Is that a Trump truck? Oh my God, it is. Oh my God, it's a gigantic pro-Trump truck. Now, if that was us on the left doing this, they would literally beat us with nightsticks. But because it's the right, the cops are like, please move out of the way.
That's what I thought was going to be crazy.
This is what happens when you pardon a bunch of criminals.
Everybody has to don't rape kids! Peace for everybody! We love Christians, don't rape kids! We love Christians, we love Jews! USA, don't rape kids! Don't rape children like Muhammad did!
Oh my God.
Don't rape children!
This is not
This is happening in Dearborn right now. If you're wondering, this is Dearborn right now. I'll put it up on the screen. Moments ago.
She was probably about the pedophile demon. That's what Jesus would do. Jesus would say, I'm going to have the demon away from good and right and true. Cast the demon away from good and right and
Now, these are the same people that told us that we should go to prison for protesting ICE, right? Causing chaos for no reason. This is today. This is all happening now. This is Jake Lang's bullshit.
USA for all! USA for all! USA for all!
What is this? Let's see. I'm trying to pull this
boiling over moment, and then obviously the simmering down moment.
I was born here in 1966. I was born here in 1966.
Congress is getting rich trading stock.
He says he loves Jesus more than
Let's take a second and see what's happening here. Hey, this is your people, Trump supporters. These are your guys. These are your guys. I'm going to turn on the phone lines too, so they'll be on if you do want to call in.
This is a hot kettle that continues to heat up and then cool down. And right now you're seeing it cool down, at least for the moment, as people head back towards the complex.
And again, this is a story really the entire country is watching right now, Roop, and we knew this was coming for days. Osama Siblani still with us, Arab American news publisher.
Looks like the cops broke
Osama,
it up
before we let you go, just I want to get your final thoughts on what we saw tonight and how you hope the community
they surrounded it, the police.
Well, I think we have to move forward on on talking to each other, understanding each other, and living with each other. There is no other way. I mean,
this is just absolute. I mean, this is so embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Trump supporters don't mind embarrassing themselves. So, all right, let's take a look at this real quick. Let's trying to keep track of what's happening here as we move forward. Hold on 1 second.
Call from.
Showing.
Hello.
I was just scrolling YouTube shorts and look who I see. How are you on this fine evening?
I'm fine. What's up?
Yeah, I mean, oh no, I was just asking.
This is a grown man, by the way. A grown man making fart noises into the phone. All right, so let me pull this up really quick. Trump supporters. I'm scrolling TikTok and look who I see, and then makes a fart noise. Goofy.
See how they're starting? Look at Look at Palestine. These cops don't get to see.
It's embarrassing. These people are nuts, folks. Yeah, we're going to take calls in a minute here. Would appreciate supporting the live. Everybody hitting the thumbs up button.
Hey, come on, man. Leave him alone. Don't push on him.
Cops are breaking it up. Ms. Perception, thank you so much, Ms. Perception.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Fuck America. They live in America, but they hate America.
Call from.
Hello?
Is your refrigerator
Ms.
running?
Perception, thank you so
chance?
much for the $5 super chat. If only they would have opened a book or maybe paid attention in school, this wouldn't be going on. I agree. What's your name? Did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, hi. I was wondering if your refrigerator is running per chance.
Do you want to debate or are you scared?
What makes you think I'm scared?
Because you're making jokes like you're 5 years old. So usually I then assume that you're scared.
What would assume that I'm scared? Have you ever had a
your
goof,
refusal
a laugh?
to debate?
Isn't there a time? Isn't there a time to a goof for a laugh even?
Nah,
Seems
not
like you
not at
just don't
your
have the
age. I don't think that's. I think we both agree that's a little beyond your
I feel-
age, right?
I feel like whimsy is for all ages, right?
Maybe so. Do you want to
I mean,
talk or no?
You can have a little bit of.
This is literally a grown ass adult. Like, do you realize like this is just embarrassing, bro? Like, it's just embarrassing. Like, you're embarrassing yourself. You're not hurting my feelings. I could care less. Doesn't bother me at all. But you're embarrassing yourself. It's just proving my point about Trump supporters. I mean, that's all it is.
What's with my
You're
election?
just proving my
Great
fucking
question.
point.
High demand.
So, keep doing it. I want you to keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep proving my point. So if you guys are just joining, what's happening is Trump supporters are causing chaos. Trump supporters are causing chaos. I say Trump supporters because that's what they are. They are Trump supporters. Jake Lang and his cronies trying to mess with people, innocent people in Dearborn. Yes, are you a Trump supporter?
A Trump supporter?
Yeah.
Actively?
Okay. What do you think about what's happening in Dearborn?
No, I'm asking you. Are you asking me if I'm actively one, or have I been one and voted for him?
Either one. Someone in the chat is saying they can't hear me. You guys can hear me, right? Just making sure, chat, you can hear me. Go ahead. Yeah, are you? Did you vote for him? And why?
Yeah, I voted for him.
Okay.
Why did I vote for him?
What do you think about what's happening in Dearborn?
To be honest, I don't really have much of an opinion on Dearborn. I don't know enough about what is going on to have one.
Okay. You're kind of cutting in and out. Are you driving or something?
Just up in the mountains. I don't really have great service, man.
Well, we can try. Go ahead. Why did you vote for Trump?
I mean, he ran on the complete opposite.
Yeah,
of
unfortunately,
everything that he's
bro.
done
Unfortunately,
so
bro.
far.
You'll have to call back when you have some kind of better service. I'm not gonna be able to understand you. Appreciate you though. Not gonna be able to understand you. Let's see. I'm gonna block everyone who says they can't hear me. Yeah, the caller's phone line was fucked up. It's not me. You always have people who take advantage of me asking someone that says they can't hear me, that say the stupid shit, and then what I do is I permanently silence you on the channel so you can't speak anymore. See how funny that is? Not funny anymore, is it? Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, though.
What's up?
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on?
I'm good. Yeah, I voted for Trump.
Alicia, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Okay, why?
I voted for Trump because I just didn't want the socialist type, especially the extreme socialists who are like the DSA types. I just don't want them gaining power. That's why I voted for Trump.
You don't want socialists gaining power? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the DSA types.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to get into semantics, but DSA is not socialism. It's democratic socialism, which is a bit different. But why don't you want them specifically to gain power? And I don't think you have to vote for Trump to prevent DSA from gaining power. I mean, you can even vote within the Democratic Party and not for DSA. I mean, like, for instance,
well,
go ahead.
Well, I feel that the Democratic Party right now is being compromised by the very far left, the DSA, and I just feel that there are some socialist policies I agree with, but I don't agree, like, a lot of the stuff that, especially from, some of the people who work for them, like Darrell Lisa and the co-chairperson of the DSA organization.
Yeah,
they're both for the.
Yeah, but the problem is that not every, like, a lot of people, even people within DSA were critical of that. So, like, Mom Donnie doesn't even support, like, all of those things. Real quick, to the guy in chat, Popo Popolo says, I'm compromised by the far left. I'm cooked. You spelled "you're" wrong. Okay? So, you're cooked. Apostrophe R-E. You're cooked. Mom.
Like, I don't even think most like Christians, for example, most of them vote for some policies that the socialists agree with. Like, most Christians are for Medicare for all. I think it's like 55 to 60% of Christians voted for that. I think the issue that we have is, you got some conservatives that are, Republicans that are against it, but most people in the country vote for Medicare for all. So I agree with.
Where did you get that from?
It's a stat that I looked up. When you look up Christians, most of them vote Medicare for all. It's like 55%.
What poll is this?
This is I can find it again for you.
Whatever. Anyways, why'd you vote for Trump? I'm just saying, like, there are people in the Democratic Party that don't support DSA. Voting for Trump is not an excuse for like opposing DSA is not an excuse for voting for Trump.
Well, the issue too was it was mainly the economy and the immigration. Like, I just think that the Trump tax cuts for the job that I work for were very, like, I work for UPS, and I really like the Trump tax cuts because it did a lot for UPS.
Okay, what about the immigration?
The immigration, I mean, where I live at, we have these a lot of, like, Haitian migrants that were coming in. They were causing all kinds of problems. A lot of them were driving without licenses. They were loitering around a lot too. They would stand in front of stores, and when you try, say excuse me to go around them, they would just stand there. They would just stare at you, and it was really weird. And it was a lot.
Wait. So you're saying they weren't polite?
It's not just that. It's also you didn't hear about the incidents where a lot of them were caught driving without. They were getting into there were a lot of accidents happening because they were driving without licenses.
Okay. I mean, I guess I don't really understand either of your points, to be completely honest. I mean, I don't even understand the point about tax cuts, really. But what's like the consequence besides them not moving out of the way?
No, there's no consequence. They just.
So then why was that a top issue?
It's not a top issue, but the people just didn't want, when they were sending the Haitian migrants to these inner cities, the people just didn't want them there because we don't know who these people are. It was a lot of them.
Well, I don't know who you are. What difference does that make?
Well, I mean, if the constituents in the cities don't want them there, then the government should abide by that.
But that's not really the case. I mean, you brought up polls earlier. I mean, most polls indicate American citizens are okay with, that population of people, and that they don't support Donald Trump's deportation operation. TJ Warren, thank you for the $4.99 super chat monthly Soros dues. Appreciate you, buddy.
I think they don't support the way he might be going about it, but I don't think they're against him deporting people in general. I just think that, the way he's doing it,
Most of the population is, but specifically the way he's going about it. His approval rating is in the toilet when it comes to deportation.
Yeah, I mean, that is true, but it did drop his approval rating. The Iran war, that's not popular neither.
You're listing things that are not good about Trump, so specifically that population, they didn't get out of the way. That's the most you can say as to why it was a top 2 issue.
No. It was just also the migrant crime. It's the problem.
No, it's not.
Migrant crime.
No,
well, yes, it's lower. It's lower under Trump than it is under Biden.
No, it's not. So crime has been going down since 2020. Crime specifically was never really a consequence of undocumented immigrants.
I'm talking about migrants.
Yeah, undocumented immigrants commit very little crime, specifically violent crime, when they're undocumented specifically.
Yeah, but when they do commit crime, the crime rates were higher under Biden than under Trump.
Can you show me where undocumented immigrants contributed to a rising crime rate in any state in the country?
Yeah, it's I go to the Center for Immigration Studies for you.
Yeah, sure. Provide it for me.
Yeah. Also, mass immigration. It's just unpopular everywhere.
No, it's not.
But
you're
it is
wrong.
in Europe. It's not popular in Europe.
Oh, well, I'm not. I thought you meant everywhere in the United States. I don't care where it is outside of the.
No, in most countries, it's in all countries it's unpopular. It's
okay. Well, anyway, the point I'm making, right, is as it pertains to undocumented immigrants, crime is not a legitimate consequence of that population of people.
Well, I'm saying under Biden, it is higher. It's lowest under Trump. I have the stats here. This is from
according to who? Trump?
No, this is the U.S. Borders and the U.S. Customs and Borders Protection.
According to DHS, there's 0 border crossings, but there's no reliable national data set that proves that undocumented immigrants committed more crime under Biden than Trump. So you may be talking about border encounters. You may be talking about case numbers or things like that, but there's not an actual data set. What is the specific source that says that?
So this is from the U.S. Borders and Customs. I'm looking at the fiscal year for 2017. That's when Trump was in office, right?
That's his first term.
Yeah. So fiscal year 2017. Right now I'm looking at assault, battery, and domestic violence by illegals, and there were 692 for fiscal year 2017 of assault, battery, and domestic violence. This is under Trump. Under Biden, It was 1,178.
For what population of people? For what population? So now you're moving the goalpost. Now you're moving the goalpost and going back to his first term, right? We were talking about this term, right? Because crime.
I have it for this term too. Yeah, I have the numbers
all
for
right.
this term
So
too.
show me what is the source?
Okay, so yeah, this is the Borders Customs and Protections.
What's the website you're on?
This is Borders. It's U.S. Customs and Border Protection. This is their website, an official website.
That's a
of the US
.gov website.
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
So you're okay, but you're gonna provide me a government website to substantiate a government claim. I'm asking for a data set outside of the source.
Outside of the government?
Of course, Donald Trump's administration is going to claim that crime is way down. Like, I mean, that's obvious, right? So what do you have an independent data set that provides that crime was higher by undocumented immigrants than under Donald Trump?
Well, what would be a more credible site?
Any data set that's not coming from them directly.
Well, this is coming. Well, I mean.
Yeah, it's likely that whatever table you're looking at, you're describing inaccurately, but I don't have it in front of me specifically. But I think you're talking about how many people were arrested. Like, why would they be talking about assault specifically? Like, it doesn't even make sense. CBP is counting people at the border who already had prior convictions, not crimes committed in the United States during Biden's presidency. They're talking about crimes committed in America. They're talking about people at the border who already had prior convictions, not crimes committed in the United States during this presidency. So a higher number intercepted at the border doesn't provide that undocumented immigrants committed more crime under Biden. Why would the border? No. Why would, dude? Why would Border Patrol, right? Customs and Border Patrol have a data set listing crimes that occurred inside the country? These are
because when they are
encounters. Yes, they're talking specifically about crimes, prior convictions. That's what they're talking about.
Well, this is not prior convictions. This is
yes, it is. Why would they have that? It doesn't make any sense. Let's see here.
Why would they have? Yeah, they said the table organizes nationwide convictions.
Yeah, so
I'm
looking at it. CBP shows right that there were more border apprehensions of people who had prior convictions during the Biden years. Okay? But they define that as convictions that happened before Border Patrol stopped them. It doesn't show. It does not show undocumented immigrants committed more crimes inside the United States under Biden.
No, that's not. No, when
that's not even the department. That's not even the department that would be providing that data set.
No, I'm saying when an illegal commits a crime inside the country, what happens?
They get arrested.
Yeah, they get arrested, and then what do the police departments do?
They report it.
Yeah, they report it to who? Do they report it to the Border Patrol if they find out that they're illegal? Do they report it to ICE?
No, there's each department calculates their total and submit it to the federal government.
Yeah, and what does the federal government do?
Calculates the total, but it's not Border Patrol who does the calculation.
Yeah, I know that. I'm saying when a cop arrests a migrant and they find out, the police department find out that it's an illegal migrant, do they count that as a criminal offense by an illegal migrant?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then after when they do that crime, do they put that inside of the numbers that go to the federal government?
No, not for Border Patrol. You're talking about the FBI, right? Do you know what the Uniform Crime Data Report is? Right? It collects all of the crime from local police departments, state police departments, tribal, college campuses, and then they publish them through the data report, through their data report.
Okay, and so you're
I
saying
think
that
it's
the U.S.
UCR
government,
or something. I don't know.
but does the U.S. government keep track of crimes done by illegal immigrants, right?
Of course.
All right, so but you said these numbers here aren't.
I'm saying
are you
that's
saying that
not
they're
the department that would provide those numbers. Border Patrol is responsible for counting the number of people they've encountered at the border with prior convictions.
But this
Guy,
this doesn't say that.
Yes, it does. And you're being disingenuous. Why would Border Patrol be publishing the number of convictions within the country? No, so you're trying to argue that the United States has like a individual database that they're submitting to Border Patrol to say how many criminals have committed crimes. CBP, Border Patrol, tracks people that they encounter at or near the border. Okay? And then they count how many people were encountered and who had a prior criminal conviction. Either.
Okay. So where are the numbers for police apprehend when illegals commit crime and the police apprehends them when they're arrested or whatever? Where are those numbers at? You said
they're calculated into the Uniform Crime Data Report. And there are plenty of studies that calculate these numbers, all of which say undocumented immigrants commit significantly lower crime than American-born citizens.
Okay, so if that's the case, then what is the fiscal year for those crime rates under Trump, and then the fiscal year for the crime rates under Biden in the CPP report?
This is kind of listen. I don't know. The exact number. I don't think I can give you the exact number, but I can tell you that statistically, it is much lower than that of their American counterpart per capita. And that's really what matters for the sake of our argument. You're trying to substantiate crime as a consequence of this population of people. And I'm telling you that consistently the case has been that undocumented immigrants commit less crime than American-born citizens, and undocumented immigrants don't contribute to a rising crime rate, which is initially what I asked you to provide. That undocumented immigrants are actively contributing to a rising crime rate in any county in the country to prove crime is a legitimate consequence. Because here's what you're not understanding. Crime is a consequence of people. I'm just simply I wouldn't even focus on crime when I think about this particular subject, because it's a consequence of people. People tend to commit crime. You can't demonize an entire population of people because some happen to commit crimes. Like, let's say I demonized MAGA because all of the people who supported Trump, because some of them stormed the Capitol, right? Would you like that? Would you like if I said a consequence of MAGA is they're going to potentially storm the Capitol, right? You wouldn't like that, right? You can't demonize an entire population of people because a select few decided to commit a crime. I'm telling you that as a like positive benefit socially, undocumented immigrants happen to commit less crime than American-born citizens because it's pretty obvious why, right? Undocumented immigrants don't encounter the law as much. They avoid encounters with the law. And that being said, when undocumented immigrants are accused of crimes, they're 2.5 times less likely to be arrested for the crime, and they're 3 times more likely to be convicted. So not only do they encounter law enforcement less, they're almost 3 times as likely to be convicted of the crime in which they are accused than their American counterpart.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. I understand that you're saying that undocumented immigrants commit less crime than native born. I agree with that. I agree with all of it.
Okay, so can you provide me a legitimate consequence of this population of people to justify the mass deportation operation outside of like a few of them committing crime? I'm not saying it would be impossible for that number to be 0 because people do stupid shit, right? I'm just saying they commit less crime than American citizens.
Yeah, I'm saying that's true, but I'm saying that when
guys, I want to read the dumbest comment in the chat so far. Brink Tradesman, You are an idiot, he says. They have a greater than 100% crime rate. That's the dumbest comment of the day, and that dude has an American flag as his profile picture. Literally the dumbest comment of the day, Brink. Congratulations. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying that when
Guy, are we going to keep going in circles and then you repeat the same thing? And I've clarified it 4 times. Can you provide me a consequence, please? Thank you.
Consequence of what? You've got
The population you're complaining about.
Yeah, I just told you. I'm saying that
you said 2 things when you said you voted for Trump. You said tax cuts because you're a UPS driver, which I don't know why you said that, because the most meaningful gains for UPS drivers came from union bargaining, not tax cuts, not a special Trump tax cut benefit, unless you're talking about his first term and the tax cuts.
The pensions went up under him significantly. That's what I like.
Yeah, but because of union bargaining. But anyway, can you please explain to me a consequence of undocumented immigration, please?
Yeah, one, but the simple fact that the problem with undocumented immigration is that one, they commit crimes. But besides that, the third thing is that a lot of these undocumented people, they get state welfare.
You're saying what now? Undocumented immigrants get state welfare?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you mean they get state welfare?
They get state assistance.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. They're ineligible for federal assistance, but they are eligible for state assistance.
Depends on what you're talking about. No, it's not. It depends on what state, what specific program. Like, there are programs for those seeking asylum. There are different things like that. But if you're just making a blanket claim that undocumented immigrants receive state welfare, I mean, that's not true.
In California, they do.
Okay, so do you live in California?
No.
Okay, so that's not a consequence for you, I guess.
No,
do you know why or what in California they receive specifically, or is this just something you heard? This is still very limited, right? Like, why specifically? What happens in, like, you're talking about Medi-Cal, right?
Yeah, I think they do get Medi-Cal, yeah.
Okay, so what is Medi-Cal?
I can read it off for you.
Well, you said it's a consequence. You don't know what it is?
It's like it's like healthcare. I don't know.
Yeah, it's to help people have emergency and pregnancy-related care to make sure that they get lunch in school. You would be opposed to that?
They get that under federal. No, they get that under federal.
No, they don't receive federal benefits.
No, for emergencies they do.
For emergency medical care, they can seek emergency medical care, but only emergency life-saving care. And that accounts for what that accounts for what percentage of Medicare?
I'm not sure, but I know if they have an emergency pregnancy or something, they can get federal assistance for that. I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but they can.
Yeah, would you want people to like if someone's dying, would you want them to be able to see a doctor regardless of their immigration status?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
but
you're not opposed to it. So the spending. I just wanted to bring this up. So for emergency Medicaid, what you're talking about, right? The limited federal coverage for qualifying treatment of non-citizens, spending was 0.4% of total U.S. Medicaid spending in 2024. So $3 billion out of almost $1 trillion.
Okay. How much is you said 0. What?
0.4%. Look up the total U.S. Medicaid spending in the fiscal year 2024 and look up roughly what percentage of money was spent on those emergency visits. And that category is broader than undocumented immigrants alone anyway. So it's not a precise undocumented share anyway. Now,
Yeah, and this one
California
says-
is different from most states because it uses state funds to provide a broader Medi-Cal coverage, which you said is the consequence, right? And it depends because you have to have a certain income to be eligible. So, and it's not just merely emergency room coverage. It's a little bit different. But at the same time,
Yeah, I think-
it provides what I'm talking about, making sure that children receive reduced priced school lunches when they need them, and emergency care. Pregnant women can get help at the hospital, things like that. I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
And it accounts for
I'm not
very
opposed
little
to that
spending.
stuff. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that stuff neither, but the thing is, what I don't want is I don't want more migrants coming here so they can.
Do you know what
they
it
might
sounds
end
like?
up
It
leaving
sounds
us.
like you're desperate to try and demonize undocumented immigrants. Well, I'm going to
No,
give
no,
you a
no,
little.
no. I'm
I'm
not
going to give
against
you.
it.
I'm
I'm
going
not
to give you.
against it.
I'm going to give you a little factoid that's going to spoil your argument completely. Undocumented immigrants contribute $100 billion roughly at a federal, state, and local level, meaning they're actually subsidizing the federal programs that American citizens benefit from. So while you complain, right, that they're using 0.4% of U.S. Medicaid spending, they are actually contributing significantly to the social programs that you benefit from because they are explicitly prohibited from receiving federal benefits.
Well, not according to the Center for Immigration Studies. It says that they are net physical drain.
Okay, and do you know why that study is incorrect?
Why is it incorrect?
Do you know how they compiled the fiscal burden in that study?
Go ahead, explain.
Okay. They counted the cost of American-born children as undocumented, because as a cost of undocumented immigration without including future tax contributions to offset the fiscal burden. So because they couldn't come up with a number that exceeded the $100 billion in tax contributions, they took the price, the cost of children born to undocumented immigrants. Of course, we have a constitution, and the 14th Amendment says those people are citizens of the country. They took that cost and then did not include the fact that they would eventually become tax-paying people because they're citizens. So in order, you're unfairly inflating the fiscal burden when you don't count their contributions.
Well, I think the study does count their contributions.
No, it doesn't. Okay,
Yeah,
what's the
because this one-
what's the number? What's the number? The fiscal burden.
Well, this says that
What is the number? The fiscal
I'm
burden.
about to read it. So it says the NRC estimated that an immigrant without, and this is just ones without a high school diploma, will create a net lifetime burden of $89,000 for an immigrant with only a high school education. It is a burden of $31,000. However, an immigrant with an education beyond high school is a benefit of $105,000. So if they have an high school diploma, they can be a net physical plus. But if they don't, then they become net physical burdens.
What you just said made no sense. What is the total?
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
I can
What
read
is
it.
the total number? What is the total fiscal burden annually?
Let me go to it. So this is, some of this is old. I mean, some of this is.
Yeah, I know. I've
2002.
read it.
That's all.
It's okay.
Let me go to something. Like I agree. Like according to this so far, that if they're educated, they're they're plus.
Yeah, but
if
they
they're not
do this.
educated, they're net.
Yeah, but they can't
Go ahead.
determine whether or not they're going to be educated. You can cut. So the problem is, you're also talking about household current fiscal balance, I believe. Let me see.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see. So they have a 1-year calculation. Yeah, it's a 1-year calculation. So they don't have there's no lifetime calculation, including their later tax payments in this study. Let's see what else is wrong here.
did you say that the how much did they contribute? You said
And by the way,
100 billion?
why would you assign U.S. citizen children costs to costs of undocumented immigration?
Well, I think that if two migrants come to, but do you agree with that? That they?
I'm laughing because you're just losing, and it's funny. So, like you don't really understand this study, right? And you haven't read it fully. It's not a lifetime calculation. They literally put a 1-year calculation. So a 1-year calculation makes children look like a cost. You understand?
Okay.
They also let's see, undocumented. Did they include?
You said that they're always you said that they contribute $100 billion.
Well, what did they say the tax contribution was in there? They undercounted the tax contribution. What do they have as the tax contribution annually?
I think it was 80.
Yeah, it's low.
How much was it?
It's low. It's low. So they also undercounted their tax contributions. So that's obviously going to produce a larger deficit. Let's continue on here.
I went to the you can go. It's a big study, so.
Yeah, I know. I've gone through it before. I just haven't. Normally, people cite the FAIR study, so I'm just like trying to read through it the quick as I can. But anyway, I can debunk it with those
I didn't go through the whole thing because
those two things alone prove that it unfairly inflated the fiscal burden. So automatically, the study is debunked. You can't.
Well, I'm saying
listen, if the cost was significant, you wouldn't need to unfairly inflate the burden. Hey, big W here to, I just saw this. Sorry, I was talking to this Muppet here. Star Rider, W Star Rider in the chat for the Canadian $139.99. W Star Rider. Let's get a W Star Riders going in the chat. Would appreciate everybody hitting the thumbs up while this dude gets destroyed. You want to provide another study?
Yeah, you said you went to FAIR.
Yeah, FAIR's also, I can debunk FAIR too.
Yeah, because I'm just reading the key highlights. I didn't read the whole study. So it says at the start of 2023, the net cost of illegal immigration for the United States at the federal, state, and local levels was at least $150 billion. FAIR arrived at this number by subtracting tax revenue paid by illegal immigrants, just under $32 billion, from the gross negative impact of illegal immigration.
Yeah, same problem though. Same problem though. The same problem with that study. They did the exact same thing. So first of all, what do they have? 150.7 billion, right? Is the net cost?
It's a net loss that this study is.
Yeah, net cost, right? The net cost, the fiscal cost.
It costs taxpayers. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they estimate 15.5 million undocumented immigrants, but they increased this population, the covered population, to 20.9 million. So they go from the study starts out, guys, right, with a 15.5 million population size of undocumented immigrants, right? And then
right now, it might be higher.
Excuse me.
The numbers might be higher.
Excuse me. It's actually not. Okay, it's actually lower, but that's fine. I'll explain this further, though. They start with a 15.5 million population size, right? And then they increase the covered population to 20.9 million, doing the exact same thing, including their U.S. born children. And
you said the covered population?
Yeah, they add 5.4 million people by including the children, the U.S. born children. Those are American citizens. But additionally, they explicitly add the cost of those children, right? Because they say they wouldn't be in the country without their parents' unauthorized presence. But the problem is do not include. but show me right now where the FAIR study includes future tax contributions to offset the fiscal burden. Do you understand that if you only take an annual number and you do not include a lifetime number, you are unfairly inflating the fiscal burden. You have to offset the burden by at least providing a number that would indicate they are going to pay into the tax system because they are paying American citizens. They're citizens. So they're going to contribute to the system.
Hold on, but when they're toddlers, when they're small babies?
Yes, that's like every American citizen. When you're a baby, if you need those programs, you use those programs. And when you become an adult, you work and you pay taxes into the system. That's how it works. So you do not understand why it unfairly inflates the fiscal burden to include an increase of 5.4 billion people with American citizens, by the way, without including their future tax contributions.
Yeah, but what's the unemployment rate for undocumented immigrants?
Oh, my God. It's not. They have an extremely high employment rate. They're not undocumented. They're not undocumented, you shoe.
Is every undocumented person working?
They're not undocumented. The children
I'm
are
not talking about the kids.
Yes, we
are.
No, we are talking about the kids. We are talking about the kids because the kids are the 5.4 million increase that the study adds, right? So yes, we are talking about the kids. You can't take 5.4 million people and say they cost this amount without including their future contributions. That is unfairly inflating the burden. Okay?
No, I'm saying, okay, so how much do the adults cost?
By the way, it literally says it in the study right here. It literally says it doesn't include the minors' long-term contributions when they become adults.
Yeah, but we don't know, but that would be ridiculous to put in there because
oh my God, do you know every credible study every credible study includes a measured lifetime calculation as to not inflate it unfairly. Okay, it's an assumption.
We have no idea.
Hold on, it's called one side. Guy, do you know anything about accounting?
No, I'm not an accountant.
Okay, who is that talking in the background? Your mom?
No.
Okay, I got 1 minute. Come on.
His grandma? Sorry, Grandma.
Yep.
I don't care, man. I got my
I'm sorry, Grandma. I'm dog walking him. He'll be done in a minute.
I'm not even trying to compete with you, man. I'm just having a discussion.
Because you can't. And I don't like when people
it's not
try
about
and frame.
competition.
It is. For me, it is.
Why?
Because when you try and frame this population in a way that's not honest, I'm willing to be honest about the issues, but I'm not willing to use studies when I'm thoroughly debunking them right in front of your face and you're not accepting it. It's called one-side accounting.
When did I say I didn't? When did I say I didn't accept it?
You're denying what I'm saying right now.
When did I deny it?
Do you think? Let me ask you a question. Is it unfair that FAIR counts American citizen children as a cost of illegal immigration when they are in school, but it does not count their adult tax contributions?
Well, because it's not. It's that part. Is
okay,
not
then I'm gonna do the same thing to American children because that's like calling every American child a fiscal drain by counting their costs in kindergarten, but stopping the ledger before they start working. That's called unfairly inflating the fiscal burden.
It's not because the parents our parents were born here. When you have illegals come in and you say that they're American citizens, that's different because with American born.
Were your grandparents born here?
Yes, my grandparents were born here.
Were your great grandparents born here?
Yes.
How do you know? What's your great grandfather's name?
My great grandfather's name. I ain't gonna give you his full name, but it's Andrew.
Okay, what is his grandfather's name?
It's the same thing. We're all Andrew.
No, you don't know your great-great-grandfather's name, you liar. But
Yes,
that's fine.
I do. Yes,
I'm
I
sure
do.
you do. I know you didn't. Your family didn't immigrate here at any point. Sure, but anyways, the point is, okay, is they're American citizens unless you disagree with the Constitution. Okay, and so in order to, even if you're going to count that them the 5.4 million increase and only count their costs, then you must include what they intend to contribute to the system, as they are American citizens who will pay into that system. Children are fiscal costs in the short term, regardless of whether their parents are undocumented, dude. Okay? It doesn't matter if they're undocumented, they're lawful immigrants, or they're U.S.-born citizens. Okay? Children undocumented or otherwise, use schools. They use health care, and they pay little tax, right? But the question becomes, what is their lifetime fiscal balance? Okay? That this is like an inadequate snapshot that is intended to unfairly inflate the burden. Children have negative fiscal balances for many years because they receive education and other types of services, so then they can become functioning, tax-paying American citizens. It is the case regardless of one's documentation status. So I want you to understand, when a study deliberately ignores that, it's doing it on purpose because they can't provide that they are a legitimate fiscal consequence.
So, but let me ask you a question. Do you think that it's right that you have undocumented migrants, right? They come here illegally. They come here, they sneak in or whatever, and then they have a kid, and then the kid becomes an American citizen, right? Do you think that it's right for undocumented people to take advantage of our system like that, to have kids?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Yeah. So, do you think it's right that undocumented people, they come here, they sneak in, or they do whatever, and some of the women they cross illegally pregnant, and then they pop out a kid here, and then we can't send them back because people say it's wrong to send them back without the kid, and so it puts us in a conundrum that it incentivizes more illegals to come here, have kids, the kid becomes American citizen, and we can't do nothing to the parents or nothing. We can't punish them. We can't send them back to their own countries because the kid's an American citizen. And so I want to prevent more of that. If the Constitution says American-born kids, kids born in America are American citizens, and you don't want to separate the families, then I want to prevent that from happening. I want more and tougher border control and border security then, if that's the case.
So then I think that we have to start having a conversation. First of all, number one, acknowledging that the current immigration system is broken, but also that the United States bears responsibility. You're acting like we're a victim. Do you think the United States bears responsibility for the conditions that push people to migrate to the United States? What drives people? What drives migration, like in particular?
It could be a bunch of different things: economics, violence.
Right?
Some people,
poverty.
Yeah, poverty.
Corruption
stuff like that.
and political corruption and natural disasters. Right, that's a big one.
Yeah, maybe natural disasters. Maybe.
I
think the big one
the
is
fact that we have an attractive economy for many people. Right, U.S. policy is a major factor that causes the conditions that forces people to immigrate to the United States. I'm not saying every migrant becomes American because they forced them to. I'm saying that you have to consider that U.S. foreign policy sometimes creates conditions that cause the instability and the issues that we're talking about that ultimately drive migration, right? And then you act shocked when people move toward the country with the most power, like economically in the region. Of course they do, right? Because we've contributed to those conditions. So I'm saying, number one, you have to accept some responsibility. So, like, for instance, you guys constantly say that Kamala Harris was the border czar. She wasn't actually the border czar. Her job was to address the root causes of migration, address poverty, address violence, address political repression. Address like why these institutions are failing and what's driving people to the United States, right? Look at Cuba. Like, I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I think. Well, Cuba is a communist dictatorship.
What about Venezuela? Okay, so you don't think U.S. sanctions have it? Guy, you don't think the state of like Venezuela or Cuba, for instance, have anything to do with the sanctions? I mean, I'm not saying there's no mismanagement, but like you do understand, like there's clearly a shared contribution when it comes to sanctions and mismanagement. Sanctions are a major reason why their economies struggle, right? Yeah, there's government corruption, right? And there is absolutely mismanagement to a degree. But if you use these sanctions, if you use economic punishment against a country that's in crisis already, you can't pretend that you had no involvement in the problem. You are partially responsible for doing it. So I'm saying I'm saying yes, this is an issue. I'm saying yes, it does need to be addressed. But the answer is not tearing families apart, killing people in the street, dragging people out of cars, dragging people out of their homes, murdering people. That is not how we deal with this problem. There is a humane approach, right? There is a way to deal with this that is much more humane than how we are dealing with it. We have a long history. We have a long history of intervening in Latin American politics. You understand that, right?
Yeah, of course. I agree that ICE needs to show a little. They need to be, like less aggressive. Less engaged. I know they started doing something where they had. I don't know. I don't know if it's real or fake, but they have like they wear these gloves that apparently they do like they do like if they want to apprehend somebody, it does like a little stun, sort of like a taser.
Yeah, it's called a it's called a voltage-emitter.
Yeah, it's something that way they don't use like they don't they won't be pulling guns and stuff like that.
No. I've had direct contact with ICE. ICE has plenty of de-escalation tools: pepper spray, nightsticks, rubber bullets, and pepper balls, all of which I've been hit with. So I know for sure they work. Okay, they do not need another tool that can kill someone. Yeah, they call it a de-escalation. Again, yeah. I already released videos on this. I already looked into it in depth. It's a voltage emitter. It's a glove that shocks you right into submission. If you look on the website, the company that actually makes this glove is called Compliant Technologies out of Lexington, Kentucky. Compliant Technologies LLC. Okay, and when the government came out and said they were going to use these gloves, it's funny. Compliant Technologies posted on their website, look, do not use these gloves against anyone who may have a medical condition that is not easily discernible. Beware of using on pregnant women. Beware of using on people above a specific age. So someone's going to die as a result of it. In fact, I already think there's a reported case. I think there is a case. Let me Google this really quick.
Did you say they have nightsticks?
Oh yeah, I've been hit with one. It hurts.
Yeah,
bad.
but you agree that it's controversial I would rather for him to use a taser glove than a nightstick. I mean, using a nightstick on somebody makes it look bad.
No.
Like
What if you have a heart condition?
Yeah, that's true. But I'm saying like if they're a video recording of ICE agents hitting somebody with a nightstick, it's not gonna. That's not gonna make ICE look good.
There is recordings. They're they're literally all over. They're all over my channel. You can go to my channel on TikTok and watch ICE agents crack people with nightsticks in multiple videos, including myself. So that's not the point.
Yeah.
But let me see here. So there is a pending wrongful death lawsuit. This is according to CBS. There is a pending wrongful death. Oh, here's a PBS article. Let me use this one. So there's a ICE plans to give electric shock gloves. Let's see. conductive distraction de-escalation. So wrongful death suit alleging that a man died after repeated use of these shock gloves alongside a taser. Let's see here. So someone actually died from this in a jail in Richmond, Kentucky. So they're called generated low output voltage emitter. That's what GLOVE stands for. And it delivers an electric shock through direct skin contact. A 43-year-old man was shocked 27 times with the glove and 13 times with a taser and died. I've seen ICE abuse the de-escalation tools they have already multiple times. I can pull it up on my channel right now and show you.
I believe you.
ICE cracking people, literally on my YouTube right now. ICE whacking people with nightsticks, doing all sorts of crazy shit. It's not.
I guess what Mace. I guess what Mace. They want to keep the apprehension, because when you spray mace, there are other people that can get mace. There are people with medical conditions, you know, the mace can harm them or whatever. So I guess with the glove is more direct on direct contact. You don't have to spray mace and, you know, people nearby or recording or whatever, they get hit with spray or they get hit with pepper spray or they get hit with mace. So they try to localize it to that one guy with the electrical glove instead of just spraying mace at him and then it hits a kid or it hits a baby or it hits whatever. So I think the electrical
I go there to film and ICE shoots rubber bullets and all sorts of stuff. So no, they can't be trusted with these devices under no circumstances should they have them. They've already hurt people. They've already busted people's heads open. I mean, I remember I saw a woman get her head cracked open by a nightstick when I was filming the Delaney hunger strike. And she was standing, she was kind of just holding her sign. ICE walked up and they just kind of started screaming. She didn't know what to do. And when she kind of like moved to the left instead of backwards, they cracked her right in the head and busted her head open. And she was really hurt.
I don't like nightsticks.
But this is the point though. If they can't be trusted to use those de-escalation tools, they shouldn't be trusted to use a shock glove. But back on topic, just to finish this conversation, I highly recommend, and I think it might change your mind, I'm serious, if you start to look into, like, the sanctions argument I made, and I would also look into, like, climate responsibility and the fact that, you know, the United States is one of the largest, you know, greenhouse gas emitters, you know, and these other countries don't have the resources to adapt the way that we do, and they face the consequences of that, right? So climate is a major reason too. So just look at the consequences. What sanctions are not the only reason I'm saying these countries are failing, but I'm just saying that, you know, it's important to remember that we have, you know, participated in increase in immigration from these countries, right? By participating in.
We didn't have that much immigration from Cuba, right? I don't think most of the immigration.
No, I'm giving you an example. I'm giving you an example of how countries respond, right, to these sanctions specifically. When the United States restricts access to finance, to oil, right, to any kind of transactions internationally, and how these countries respond, the United States has to take some blame on seeing an increase in immigration.
Yeah, didn't we sanction Cuba because of the whole missile thing? Like they were trying to get ballistic missiles, and
You're talking about the Cuban missile. You're talking about the Cuban missile crisis. Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking. I'm trying to keep you on topic here, dude. Okay, I want you to look these things up. We can come back and have another conversation. I'm not saying sanctions are why all migrants come. I'm just saying, you know, the United States has major responsibility in the Latin American crisis, right? I'm not saying migration is entirely our fault, but we should accept some responsibility, right? And if you look into those things, you might be surprised, right? You know. Now, I'm not saying the United States has to let everyone in either. I'm just saying that we have a shared responsibility, right? And we should have enforcement that is orderly and humane. And in my opinion, fixing the immigration system is a must. Creating a system that's easier for people to have a legal pathway, right? Fair asylum processing for people, right? And ultimately allowing the population that's currently here to become tax-paying American citizens, the ones that aren't already paying taxes, is more beneficial for the American taxpayer than is spending billions of dollars to remove them, which does nothing positive for you.
Okay. One last thing before you go.
We hit the limit.
Okay,
Take care,
all right,
bro.
thank you.
Maybe that dude will read about this stuff. I don't know. But if you guys don't know, really quick, I'm going to turn the phone line on here. But if you guys do not know, the phone lines are on, by the way. If you guys do not know, Jake Lang, specifically, hosted a rally today in Dearborn, Michigan. All the white supremacists came out, okay, and essentially, are causing problems in Dearborn. Guys, can we contribute to the
Dr. Sandwich?
Can we contribute to the gifting goal here? I would appreciate it. Should try and complete the gifting goal. Do I need to restart it? You can also support on Venmo and Cash App if you don't want to support through the gifting goal, but I would appreciate I got to set a new one. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, I am, 100%.
Okay, why?
Why? Because I stood on my vote.
No, what do you mean?
Well, how about this? I support mass deportations. And before I start the debate, I'm just gonna say this, okay? I really want to debate you, but before I do that, us MAGA.
Guys, hold
Trump-
on. Ryan H just said, "Fuck your gifting goal." Ryan H 2691 said, "Fuck your gifting goal." So, guys, make sure you do it on behalf of Ryan H. He's super triggered. He doesn't want to see people support me. So, and by the way, becoming a member helps too. If you guys support anything I do, the traveling, the reporting, the debating, whatever it is, do it on behalf of Ryan. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm speaking on behalf of all the MAGA voters out there, all the Trump voters out there. We're getting really tired of your call-in shows, being disingenuous, lying. So I'm here to be a.
Wait. No one gives a fuck, you goof.
I'm here to be a warrior for them, and I'm just letting you guys know.
A warrior.
Yeah. These call-in shows have a time limit. These call shows have a time limit on it, and I'm just here to speed up the process a little bit. Yeah, y'all gonna be irrelevant soon.
Do you realize I've been doing this since 2022? I just started on YouTube. I have 200,000 followers on TikTok. I just you know that, right? Deb, thank you so much. People have been saying that for years. I did this for years under Joe Biden.
That doesn't mean anything. Eventually, Democrats are going to be so unpopular.
And now people are starting to watch me on YouTube, and I guess
Democrats are going to be so unpopular that you're going to be a dead party anyway. So
Democrats are going to be so unpopular. I disagree with
that. I disagree too. I disagree. Well, first of all, I'll go ahead and start the debate.
Oh no! First, we're going to address this. So you think Democrats are going to be unpopular and no one's going to care about that? Really? That's what you think is going to happen? Dude, MAGA supports...
You're unpopular right now. There's no masculine...
Can you look up Donald Trump's... Can you look up Donald Trump's approval rating on the Epstein files?
I can care less about that.
Of course you can.
Do you believe it? Do you believe in approval ratings?
You could care less about the Epstein files?
Yeah. No, I can care less about that.
Wow, then now we're definitely going to talk about it. 210 Ring Christopher, thank you so much, Christopher. Rhino Raider says, on behalf of Ryan and other chuds in the chat, including the caller, I added that. Thank you so much, Ryan. Catch 22, appreciate you. This guy's a goof. You don't care. Wait, hold on. You don't care about the Epstein files? We want to hear about this.
Let me say this. If you test my intelligence, I will be forced to test yours.
Ellen,
and you
thank
will lose.
You so much for the $10 super chat. You could test my
You will lose.
So watch
how
this.
How about we talk about pro illegal immigration?
Ready? Watch, I'm going to test your political knowledge. I'm going to test your political knowledge now. If you
Go ahead.
answer all
I'm
three
not.
questions,
I'm
you
not
can
afraid
stay
to
on.
admit that I don't
Ellen,
know
thank
everything.
you so much. How
So
many
it's not going to
senators?
work.
How many senators?
It's not
going to
work.
How many senators?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
If you don't know how many
Okay.
senators are, we can't talk. Have a good day. If you can't tell me how many senators there are, we can't have a conversation. Bro literally said, your time is ticking. Democrats are going to be so unpopular. Dude clearly doesn't watch me. I mean, I'm critical of Democrats too, but the fact that you think that you have the power to do anything is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. That had to be the biggest dork caller I've ever seen in my life. Had to be the biggest dork.
From?
Yes, are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, of course. I'm here to debate.
Oh, you're calling back again?
Yeah, I'm here to debate.
Did you hear what I said? You don't. I'll give you another question. If you can answer it, then it's
Okay.
these are 8th grade political
Hold on.
questions. Okay. What is a discharge petition?
I have no clue. You tell.
Sorry. I can't talk to people who don't know 8th grade civics. I can't. It's not worth my time, right? You're clearly not someone who wants to learn either. I need to have a new standard of not talking to people who don't know basic civics, because why am I bothering?
Call from?
Dr. Sandwich.
All right, I'm going to give you one more chance. Are you ready? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a
Okay.
chance. I'll give you a chance to talk about
How
something.
about we
Hold on a
actually
second.
define what intelligence is?
Let me do this
first?
really quick. How
How about we define what intelligence is first?
We're not defining intelligence. That's stupid.
Yeah,
All right, so
okay.
the
It's
goal
not
is to
stupid.
entertain the caller.
You don't know what
so I'm gonna
intelligence
ask you-
is.
I know. I don't know what intelligence
You
is.
don't.
So real quick.
You don't know what intelligence is.
Okay, so can you tell
You
me really?
don't.
Okay, what does IQ stand for?
Oh no, you tell me.
Again, can't talk to you if you're stupid. He's 0 for 3. Mary, thank you so much. Says, caller, please go away. Yes, he's a tough guy. Leanne, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you so much, Leanne. God, he's obsessed. All right.
Call from?
All right, listen, I'm going to give you a shot, but you have to listen.
How about
I
you
want to
let me
ask
ask
you
the
something
question
really
first? Let's
quick.
test
You
your
said you
intelligence.
don't care about the Epstein files, right? Can you tell me really quick, what are the Epstein files?
Okay, I'll give you this one. Jeffrey Epstein was a.
No, what are the Epstein files?
It's the government files released by Jeffrey Epstein, who was the head
They were not
of the
released by
trilateral.
Epstein. They were not released by Epstein.
It was
You're
released
already
by the
wrong.
government. It was released by the government because Jeffrey Epstein was the head of the Trilateral Commission.
So why
Now, can we
why were
please-
they
can we please
he was
debate?
the head of the
How
what?
about-
Why
how about-
were they released
how about-
by the why were they released by the government?
Listen, just because I don't know everything, that doesn't mean I'm not intelligent.
I
You don't know
think
what intelligence
you don't know
is.
what you're talking
You don't know what
about.
intelligence is.
Okay, listen,
Let me
can
give you an
stop
example.
calling me? Stop calling
Can I give you an example?
No, I want
Can I
you
give
to
you an
stop
example?
calling me.
Is that because you're
No,
scared to debate
you
me?
ruined it. If you
You're
just called,
scared to
if you-
debate me.
Yes, I'm
You're
scared of the guy who doesn't know how many senators there are. I'm terrified. It has nothing to do with you being an asshole. It's totally that I'm scared of the guy who doesn't know how many senators there are. Yes, I'm terrified, you goof. There comes a point where you become not worth it. Okay? That's what it is. Unfortunately, that's where you landed. If you didn't call in with your stupid, I'm going to shut down all these shows. Hello?
Hi.
You called?
Nah.
Yeah, you did.
Nuh-uh.
Okay. How old are you?
I don't know.
I can tell you're an adult, but I don't know why you're acting like a child.
Nuh-uh.
You're scared? Okay, I figured. This person called, and then I guess they saw the other person get destroyed, and now they're scared. No, he's not worth my time. Just gonna end up in a screaming match. I already know. I've been doing this long enough to know now. It's just you know, chuds like that are not worth it. Guy doesn't know how many senators there are, wants to have a political conversation. Jesus Christ. Listen, I just want you all to know that don't vote and don't support for Trump. You are better than them. Just know that. You are better than them. Know that. Know that in your heart every day. You are better than they are. That's not an exaggeration. They are the worst of us. The worst. Can every single person in here hit the thumbs up button? We need every single person to hit the thumbs up button, and we might get on the For You page. Johnny says, this guy thinks he knows it all. No, I don't. You can call in and let's have a conversation. This guy's still calling. I'm going to have to block his number now. Jesus. They become so obsessed, I have to block their number. Like, that's how obsessed they become. I have to block their number. Like, it's like sick, dude. Smokey, it has everything to do with how many senators there are. If you don't know basic 8th grade civics, you're not going to be able to have a conversation with me. It's just a fact of life. Bro, he's got like a 10,000 IQ. Dude, I'm telling you, he's in Mensa. He's a genius. He's in Mensa. He's a genius. Just block that dude's number. He just keeps repeatedly calling. If we can get someone with a brain cell to call in, I'd certainly appreciate it. Although I know MAGA's terrified right now. They usually are. Can we call Chud? Guys, the funniest shit happened. So my son comes up to me and he goes, Daddy. He goes, are you calling me a chud? He did it in that exact voice. I fell on the floor laughing. He goes, are you calling me a chud? That's his thing now that he says. Kelly, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you, Kelly. Are you calling me a chud? It's funny as fuck, dude. I think that dude doesn't know how to get back to my channel. Yeah, my son's like, are you calling me a chud? Are you calling me a chud? Stephanie, thank you so much for the $5 Venmo. You said your dedication is admirable. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I really appreciate that, Stephanie. Thank you for the $5 Venmo, Stephanie. I really appreciate that. No, I actually saw a whole thing about Trump and Teddy Roosevelt today. Like, there was some thing, or one of the first things I watched this morning was like, would Teddy Roosevelt like Trump? Because you know how Trump supporters always say that? Likely because he was racist, but he wouldn't have. Johnny, call in, Johnny. Right now, all we have is the block caller calling in repeatedly. He's called 9 times in a row, guys. Blocked. It just rings. It doesn't show up. You can't even see it. I think this is the guy from the other day that called like a bunch of times. No, they always say that, though, about Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah, let me check on Dearborn real quick. I mean, there's a lot to... Teddy Roosevelt created the U.S. Forest Service, if you didn't know that. Created the national forests and the national parks, multiple national parks, tons of things. Let me check up on this really quick. So if you guys don't know, Jake Lang and his white supremacist crew went to Dearborn and basically started burning Qurans and stuff. I'm going to check in right now and see what's happening. See if we can see anything here. Shit. Maybe things are getting out of hand. Oh, shit. I think things are starting to pick up a little bit. Let's see. Let's pull this up real quick. We're just going to check in at Dearborn really quick before we take another call.
Real leaders fix broken systems. That's why...
I don't know why the fuck that's coming up. Hold on. Real leaders. I want to play a campaign commercial for you guys. Checking in with Dearborn
Oh shit, I'm in the wrong drive, on the go. I was in there.
This is absolute insanity.
What up, cuz? Are you hard? It makes it look bad. Oh, yeah.
Notice how peaceful the cops are compared to the ICE protests. They'd be beating people if it was an ICE protest.
I just gotta do it with everybody.
Where's Jake Lang?
Where you at?
Jake Lang is such a... This stuff doesn't even deserve any attention, man, honestly. What are you talking about? Jake Lang, not Dean. Who said anything about
Hey bro, where's Jake Lang? I have no idea. You burned the garage. What did everyone?
Yeah, so it's just a bunch of bullshit in Dearborn. It really, honestly, doesn't even deserve attention, but Jake Lang is, he's been at multiple protests that I've been at, and he's just incredibly fucking attention-seeking, always looking for shit. Oh, shit, Jake Lang got pulled over in Dearborn, too. I didn't see this. Oh, shit. He got pulled over. How is he still in a U-Haul? We had a shitload of people call at Delaney Hall because Jake Lang came over and, you know, in a U-Haul and was burning an LGBTQIA plus flag.
You're gonna have problems.
Yeah. Yes, but I mean, I'm burning books today.
Okay.
I'm going back. Oh, am I free to go? Hold on. I'm going to do what I need to do.
I plan on putting 2 Qurans on the ground right here and burning them and then getting the fuck out of Dodge. Is that my record?
What? This is
Burning
insanity.
them and then getting out of Dodge.
On May 10th, 2026, Edward Lang, better known as Jake Lang, traveled to Dearborn, Michigan, home to one of the largest Muslim communities in the United States, to protest against Islam. During his demonstrations, Jake has burned Qurans, displayed bacon, and made several visits to Dearborn, with tensions increasing during each visit. In this video, we'll take a look at body cam footage from Jake's encounter with the Dearborn Police Department.
Hey, Jacob, do you have all the information? You will never take over this country. Christ is Lord. You don't love Christ. Your Jesus, no. My Jesus is different.
Where's the register, the thing they gave us, the paper when we checked that? Left it in another car. I didn't know you were going to need it. Don't call this out one. You're going to have problems. Yeah. Clear.
So
Yes, but I mean,
you heard him there. He literally said, I'm going to go burn some Qurans and then get the hell out of Dodge. He does that at every protest. He goes, he incites violence, and then he leaves. That's what he does. So let's turn the phone lines are back on now. Let's call 252 just called in. Let's see what this person wants. Somebody said, imagine being gay. There's nothing wrong with being gay. Why are you saying that, dude? It's 2026. 252, are you a Trump supporter? Let's call them back. They just hung up. We'll call back and see why they called. You called? You called the YouTube show. Hello? Hello, you called YouTube. Oh, it's a kid, of course. Shocker. Notice how the kids act the same as the adult MAGAs? Do you ever notice that? The kids act the exact same as the adult MAGAs. There's like no difference. Yeah, I don't know why that dude's saying something about gay people. We love gay people here. What's wrong with gay people? Gay people are great. Why do you have such a problem with just accepting people for who they are? Like, why is that a problem? It shouldn't be, unless you have something that you're like hiding and you're trying to like, I don't know, project it onto other people. But in here, if you are, you're safe. But these other chuds, don't worry about it. They're low IQ, so that's why they can't make sense of it. They can't make sense of it, right? Because they're low IQ. So, but you're not going to make gay people feel uncomfortable here. I'll fucking silence you. So that's what will happen there. Have some courage and call the phone number and have a legitimate debate with me if you want, but you're not going to talk crap. All right, V Deer says, you're a sinner. Dude, you voted for Trump, who habitually cheats on his wife, who sins. Every sin you could possibly think of, Donald Trump has committed. I mean, are you seriously talking about sins when you voted for Donald Trump? It's like when Republicans say they don't like undocumented immigrants because it's a crime, illegal immigration. And yet they voted for a convicted felon. And honestly, those of you that watch me on TikTok, if you don't watch me on TikTok, you really should watch me on TikTok. It's same name, Adam Cray on TikTok. You go live on the account with 200,000 followers normally. If you talk to Trump supporters about Donald Trump's criminal conviction, do you know what's really shocking, but not shocking because it's expected? A lot of them don't think he's a convicted felon. Like, they're so delusional, right? They get their information from Twitter that tells them he's not a convicted, that they just say, well, no, he's not. The response is often, no, he's not. Are you going to keep spamming about the Padres in chat like you're hurting my feelings or something? You're just embarrassing yourself. So I'm just going to mute you. Okay? And that's it. Maggot crying about the Padres in chat. Goofy. You want to talk about AOC? AOC's better than Trump. That's for damn sure. AOC's a hell of a lot better than Trump. Guys, I have to use the bathroom for 1 second, so you have to just give me 1 quick second while I do that. It will only take a second. I'm actually going to pull this up real quick because this is happening right now in the Dearborn stuff. I guess I'll pull up while I'm waiting. Or something. I don't know, I guess. pull this up. Hold on one second, folks. I'll be right back.
Person to go home, and I don't know what they do after the protest. What they know, what the, you know, they go have dinner with their families. Do they do homework with the kids? I don't know. They go to prepare for work the next day. They go to work. I don't know. Yeah, people marching down. Let's see some of the other feeds that I've had. Large crowd of locals and counter protesters chase Jake. Oh, okay. This was 32 seconds ago. Kind of curious. Jake Lang down the road as he leaves. Oh. This is from Freedom News.
All right, we're back.
A little bit here.
We're back. Okay. Now, somebody said, is it cool to call? You can call if you want. You got to call now, though. What do we do? We didn't. Guys, we have 30 minutes left on the gifting goal. If you guys want to support that, would appreciate it. Helps the live, helps me, helps get us on the For You page. All of those things. If you can't, I would appreciate hitting the thumbs up button at the least. Yes, I like AOC. AOC is good. I mean, I don't see what the I mean, AOC is one of the better politicians I think we have. Do you guys know what AOC's net worth is? AOC, I believe, still has like college debt. So she has roughly between $33,000 and $66,000. Oh, this guy again. Sorry, I accidentally unblocked his number. She has. So her latest disclosure, right, was she has student loan liability. The disclosure alone places her roughly between $33,000 and positive $66,000. Here is AOC's recent disclosure list. Okay, her savings account has 50 grand in it. That's pretty good for a normal person. Checking account has 15,000. Good for a normal person. She has an old 401k with 15,000, and she has student loans between 25 and 50,000. So she's basically living like an upper middle class American citizen. While Republicans, people on the right, enrich themselves, Donald Trump enriches himself, enriches his family. She's living like a normal American upper class. Now, I'm not saying she's poor. She's not. You know, she's got $50,000 in the bank. She lives like an upper middle class American. So I'd say that's about as honest as you can get, right? What's Donald Trump's net worth? How much has Donald Trump made since the beginning of the Iran war? Better question, how much has Donald Trump's family made? Yeah, AOC doesn't accept a lot of that money, so she gets paid her salary. I'm not saying she's poor. Like, she has $50,000 in her saving account. She's got 15 grand in her checking account. She lives like someone who does okay. Middle upper class kind of person, and works very hard. So, like, I'd say that's pretty honest. Exactly. Well, I mean, none of them are working for us. Okay. They're all working against us, but there are a select few politicians like AOC that I believe are more interested in helping the American people than they are with enriching their own pockets. That's a telltale sign right there. Most of these politicians are dirtbags. Yeah, she'll get her payday one day. She'll get taken care of at some point. But I'm just saying, you know, she's not. I'm not. I mean, listen, she's not crying. She's not poor. She's got plenty of money in the bank, but she's not a rich person like many of these people are. These politicians. All right. So honestly, for real, says you're a communist traitor. One problem, you spelled "your" wrong. But why don't you call in real quick and talk to me? If you think I'm a communist, call in. Let's talk about it. Honestly, for real, let's talk about it. Come on in. Let's call in. I literally have the phone number up there for you to call in. You know? They don't know the difference between like communism and democratic socialism. Don't expect them to know. They don't know how many senators there are. You think they know the difference between? Really, Steve? You think Donald Trump's better than any Democrat? Call in. Let's talk about it. I disagree with you. I think you're full of crap, as a matter of fact. Tori, yeah, I don't know where I'm traveling next. I'm probably just going back to New Jersey. I'm actually going to have a petition for Delaney Hall that I'm going to post tomorrow in the TikTok live. So if you're in the TikTok live tomorrow, I would appreciate. Well, make sure you're there in the morning because I'm going to have a petition that I need people to sign that we're bringing to the governor, Governor Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey. So if you guys are in the TikTok live tomorrow morning, the normal political live, make sure you're there and ready to sign a petition. I would really appreciate it. Just so you guys know, the same guy is calling over and over and over again. His number's blocked. He just keeps calling. He's called 31 times in a row now. 31 times. He took a 2-minute break, and that's probably because his mom called him. And he has called 31 times in a row. Look at this psycho. And, you know, I think about this often. I was talking to somebody about this. You know the people that you block and they make new accounts and come and fuck with you, and the people that can't, they always talk about you. You know, you have somebody like you block them, and like a year later they're crying about you in some other chat or something. People that make new accounts and stalk you, people that call like this guy 31 times in a row, that's predatory behavior. Those are the types of guys that like stalk their girlfriends. Hello, are you a Trump supporter?
No, it's Yuri down in 2A1. How you doing this evening? I didn't think any of those asshats were going to call in, but I did want to ask you some perspective on Islamic immigration.
On what?
On the like, for example, like right now we have a huge Christian nationalism problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've had imams. I've learned from them, and it seems like there's tricky language in even their faith as to when they're like right up there with evangelicals. Does that make sense? So, because I was reading, it says like Dearborn chaos on your, what do you call that? I don't know, that imagery you have for your live. I don't know what that's called.
Just a header or whatever, yeah.
It's a header? Yeah. Well, thanks, because I wouldn't have had that if you didn't. Normally, I'm having to walk around and move things when I'm on the phone with you, so I'm like screaming in the phone. This is a first for me that I'm in someplace quiet and talking to you. But like, so you don't, I'm taking it that you do not agree with like the moderates and the middle grounder and obviously the right wingers, because I mean, they're going to hate Islam just because they're fucking told to, pardon the language.
Yeah, I don't support judging immigrants by whether they're Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Hindu, atheist.
I mean, say,
America's not a but hold on, America's not a religious state. The First Amendment specifically, these people shout about the Constitution and then simultaneously criticize one's religion. The United States is not a religious state. We have a First Amendment, and that bars the government from establishing a religion and protects people's free exercise.
Anyway, I mean,
no, they don't.
They went. Well, no, I'm saying this whole Christian nationalist shit is like way overboard. And like to a lot of us, we're like, okay, well, it had a takeover.
Right, but that doesn't mean that we should start judging one based off their religion, right? I don't judge people based off their religion.
Yeah,
so.
and I wouldn't want to do that. I'm saying because for me it only comes from the perspective that I've had pastors, imams, I've had like 4 Orthodox rabbis in my lifetime, and these are people I intensely studied from, and it does kind of seem that there is an equal amount of risk. I mean, we're talking pure danger in unchecked Islamic immigration for the same reason that evagelicals can be a huge problem. Because I had to find out. Okay, well, and if in a moment I want to hear that because like I at first thought that all of America's domestic terrorism came from the left. I was one of those people back in 2024.
There isn't a single study that indicates it comes from the left. In fact, the most credible study lists like it's like 82% comes from the right side of the political spectrum. It's overwhelmingly the right.
Christians.
No, it's the far right. It's the far right. Christian nationalism is a far right-wing ideology.
Again, it's never. Well, why is it never Hindu far right? Why is it never distinct selections of intellectual atheism on the right that are doing it? It's Christian terrorism. So religion.
No, I mean you can be so religious. So religious extremism has its own category. It's not categorized the same as other political violence. So when an act of domestic terrorism is committed on behalf of a particular political issue, that's categorized either left or right. When it's religious based, it's an entirely separate category. They don't even include it in political violence statistics.
I don't feel that's managed correctly. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
I mean, I do.
I wasn't trying to do that. Like because it does seem like it's one of the. I was just talking about this recently on the internet. It's always the same 3. It's going to be the Christians, intellectual atheism, like that's actual Marxism. Like it's when I say intellectual atheism, I'm referring to someone has a written playbook that people need to be this. They're going to either cleanse a certain religious group in whatever the region of the planet it is that the documentation is being forged, or it's just attacking religion in general. So I want to be very specific because I'm not trying to just take cheap shots.
That's fine. Let me respond now, though. So no, I don't think we should be judging people based on their religion. Whether or not Republicans are trying to install a Christian nationalist state doesn't mean that we should then attempt to infringe on others' religious freedoms. That would be unconstitutional. I don't think that's the answer. The Establishment Clause prevents the government from establishing a religion, and then you have the Free Exercise Clause. People can practice whatever religion they want. That is the simple standard. You're free to believe your religion. So the question is whether someone follows U.S. law or constitutional rights. And I don't want to live in an America that requires immigrants to abandon their faith. I don't want to live in a country that requires a faith that outranks the Constitution, for instance. But I would also say that when you say that you fear Islamic extremism the way that you do Christian nationalism, well, I mean, I guess that's a matter of opinion, but you shouldn't say Islamic extremism in particular. You should just say you fear religious extremism. The fear of Islamic extremism.
Well, okay, can I stop? May I stop you? Because this is important.
The fear of Islamic extremism is almost completely made up. There are violent Islamic groups, right, that have committed real atrocities, but not in an attempt to overthrow our government. But Americans have been trained, especially since 9/11, to turn like that threat, right, into a like collective suspicion of ordinary Muslims. Okay, and that is a right-wing kind of extremist position. So yeah, Islamic extremism exists. It obviously does, but religious extremists exist. So the question is whether or not you blame an entire religion for the act of extremism.
But let me step in for something.
You like to talk, don't you?
Okay, fair, Adam. I do like to talk. And some have argued I like to hear myself speak. I don't, but it's been argued. So my contention is then I don't want none of us, whether you're left wing, middle, right, it doesn't really matter where your politics are. A lot of people don't look at it as a problem of religious extremism because where do you see the Buddhists, Hindus? Where do you see the shavists? You see where I'm going with this? Where do you specifically see anything other than those three clowns? Every time. The intellectual atheist, the Christian, the Muslim. It's always those three people in their shit. I don't remember. I've been in several occasions, both in the States and internationally, where somebody's religious terrorism was an immediate thing. There was a lockdown in one situation, and I mean, when I've been abroad, they started doing backpack checks of everyone because that's something in other
there
countries
is
that they do.
technically like Buddhist extremism. I mean, you may not hear about it, but there is technically like Buddhist extremists. You just don't necessarily get taught to associate Buddhism with terrorism the way you're taught to associate Islam with terrorism.
There is some common
right?
sense in that with people's fear of Christianity and Islam. That is very rational because you can study those faiths and be like, holy shit, this is bad news. I mean, come on now.
I mean, there are Buddhist extremist groups that have incited even anti-Muslim violence before and attacked mosques.
Which is ridiculous that they do that too. You know,
but I'm just saying, like, you're acting like it doesn't exist. Like, there are recorded events. I think there was one in like the 90s where a Buddhist attacked a mosque. So, like, again, I'm just saying, like, it's consistent among every religion. It's not particular to one religion. 9/11, after 9/11, there was a process of indoctrination in which our government tried to convince its population that the war in Iraq and Afghanistan were justified. And that's what I'm trying to point out, right? I oppose all ideologies that promote violence. So I reject extremism. Okay, any ideology that rejects constitutional rights, I would oppose, but those are extremists. So I reject extremism, but I will not let fear. I will not let fear turn into collective blame, which is what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess so, because I would have worded it as collective suspicion, and it equates enough where you win in that argument anyway. So I wouldn't disagree with you, but
okay, but vet people individually for conduct and credible security risks, not by what religion they're associated with. Okay, you can still vet people individually.
If you did that, you still don't think that common sense and reasonable investigation wouldn't lead to the same two major ones every time, the evangelicals and the Islamic people?
Statistically?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Internationally or the U.S.? I mean, geez.
Well, I mean, I don't know. In the United States, the largest act of domestic terrorism was a Christian nationalist. So, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I guess. But what's your point?
No, I mean. So I think the point is that whether you're right, because I'm a bit conservative, you know, obviously I call in, I'm not going to call in drunk and talk mad stupid shit like these fucking MAGA people, but, you know, I call in, I appreciate your show, and I just kind of wanted to see your input on that, which I figured would be very different from mine. Like, for example, I think it was just over a week ago, I used Gemini to look up all of the history of Islamic presence in the U.S., and it was really fascinating.
Here's the question, right? The question isn't why other religions don't have extremists, even though they do, right? The question is why you only generalize from extremists to all believers when the believers are Muslim.
I think it's the one you said. I think it's because our government and media has been intentionally doing that.
There you go.
Against them, but there's a counterbalance. I know that most people on the right aren't also like dedicated to watching CNN and MSNBC, and then just the list goes on. I did though, because I could sit there, watch Newsmax at my grandmother's house, but then be on my phone on the bike right back, hearing counterpoints from a completely unrelated media circuit of some kind, you know. And but you get to understand, you know, I mean, that for me, I think that broadens, you know, my perspective of understanding. It may not. It may just be in insane levels of brainwashing from all the ends.
I would just question, like, you have to question yourself why you have, because obviously every American should recognize they were subject to indoctrination. This country's worked my entire life to convince me to be a white Christian conservative man. This country works
Agreed,
very hard to convince people who look like me to be the opposite of me, right? And so I think that
I
it's
agree,
very,
and it's deplorable, incidentally.
it's
I
very,
think,
but
you
it's
know,
very
that
productive to recognize that,
you don't see
because
that
that's
as,
how you
as-
catch yourself in, getting sucked into that kind of a hole.
Well, and I'm not going to disagree with that. I would say that the average person is already a meathead, so they are extremely susceptible of things that you're not. I mean, it's pretty obvious from the way that you interact with people on your show, and even when you're not interacting with people and you're just speaking. I mean, it's clear that you're smarter than the average fucking bear. But you can't say that about the vast majority of Americans. Like, it's meathead shit going on.
But that
everywhere.
doesn't, but not being just like, so like, I don't like to let them off the hook that way. Okay, so let's say that, like, someone who still supports Donald Trump, someone who's MAGA or still supports Donald Trump and has, and is less intelligent, is that an excuse that they, like, were indoctrinated more effectively than me? Like, I don't know. I think it really comes down to ego for many of these people. I think it's less about their intelligence. That's part of it. But, like, their ego is a major reason why they're not willing to look in the mirror and say, why do I believe these things? I think that people, they hear these things and they just charge ahead. I have had many conversations with people about this subject recently, because it's come up a lot recently for some reason. And a lot of these people they're angry. Their anger, I think, like, distorts their perception or something.
Oh yeah, because I've been there. I've been.
But again, like, the government made you feel that. Like, let's be honest, right? Like, the real people that were responsible for that particular attack, I'm not going to be specific, that happened here in New York City. Ultimately, that wasn't Afghanistan. That wasn't just about people being Muslim, right? That was a much broader issue, and specifically about U.S. intervention in the Middle East.
Right. No, I know. So I don't know the specific thing you're talking about. I probably
I don't want to say the
news
thing,
clip.
in New York City, the major event that happened, that the major reason why the United States,
I
spent
get
so
what
much
you're saying.
time trying to indoctrinate people into this.
Yeah, I was in junior high when that happened. Can I ask how old you are, or is that rude? Like, do you not want
53.
me to ask that? You are 50-fucking-3? Bullshit.
No, I'm not.
No.
I'm not.
How
I'm
old?
in my 30s.
I'm 38.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in my
30s.
30s.
I was in junior high when all that shit was going down. But
I remember it myself.
But I mean, I just, I'm not saying people should share my disdain for certain, not all the faiths, but the certain schools of thought within all of them. There's just because, for example, there's some types of there's a prayer style matched with a way of approaching hadith called Hanbali. I'm less of a fan of that than, say, Maliki, but I can't remember which cultures of Muslims that comes from. Damn it, I should be better.
All I'd say this is reflect on that a little bit and call in a different.
But Wahhabism and Siddiqui is something from the Gulf states, for example. I'm not a fan of that shit. You see what I mean? But there are versions of Islam, like Sufism. I just died.
Do you consider yourself Christian though, not
Oh
evangelical?
fuck God! But dude, absolutely not. Okay. I'm a pagan. I don't touch garbage. It's bad for my system.
Well, I'm just saying, because I mean, a lot of people do this and they say, well, I'm not an extremist, and then if you really want to go through the Bible, we can, and it kind of points out. But anyway, call back in another time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. A lot of times people say they are Christian, and then we could say, all right, let's go through the Bible and let's have like a conversation about whether or not you think the Bible is extremist. All it comes down to is this, right? And by the way, there are Buddhist extremists. The claim that Buddhism has no extremism is false. It's just not centered in American political propaganda, because the United States spent 25 years organizing its security narrative around Islamic terrorism after 9/11. But ultimately, right, like, I still believe people have the right to believe in whatever religion they want. Like, I've heard people have this take that, well, we need to like just get rid of no, I'm absolutely for religious freedom. There's always going to be people that use religion to gain power and resources and money. Always. It doesn't matter what the religion is. There's always going to be people who pervert and use religion inappropriately to gain control of other people. That is never going to change. And they don't just use religion to do it. Sometimes it's not even religion. There are cults out there that aren't religious based. I'm opposed to organized religion because I think it makes people susceptible to this problem. But I'm saying there are cults out there that aren't even religious based. Explain that. And sometimes they commit acts of terror. Sometimes they commit homicide and other criminal activities. Like, explain that. So yeah, I think anything can be used like that, and we should be very careful not to blame entire populations of people because some do. And I will say this just specifically about Muslim people. Every single Muslim person that I've ever spoken to has been incredibly peaceful and has never advocated for any violence, and they just want peace. I've also never met a Muslim, and I've met plenty of them, that want to enforce Sharia law and like abandon the American Constitution, because I would be opposed to that as well. G Dubs says, I can't wait for the next crusade. I think Dearborn will start it off. Are you going to be in your basement when that happens? Because you're not going to do anything. Adam, I would have loved for you and my scientist dad, whose second theology was religion, to talk, but he's gone. I'm not actually big into talking religion. I'm not. You know, it's not because I can. It's quite literally because I don't like it. Because I just don't like it for a particular reason I'm not going to get into. But it just, I'm okay with talking about it a little bit here and there, but I kind of like stay away from it for the most part unless it's absolutely necessary. My father is a cardiac surgeon and works with many Muslims, and they are so kind. They really are. But I also know many Christians who are kind and think Trump is an asshole. So, like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think that when we start doing this thing, right, where we like pick specific religions to demonize without acknowledging that those religions are being used by these people to gain power, right, inappropriately, then you're not actually helping the cause. I think it's best to just take a position that supports freedom of religion, you know, and supports, you know, the Constitution and the free exercise clause and the establishment clause, and you are free to believe whatever you want, but you are not free to use religion to override our civil law or to take away people's rights, and that should be enforced like that. Rusty says, Trump is your president. He's not my president. He's your president. Look at the Mormons. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It is really crazy. But, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the fact that these MAGA Muppets actually think that they're going to talk about extremism and cults, like, are you kidding me? You still buy into the whole political and religious system? No, I don't buy into the whole political and... What do you mean political and religious system? We have a political system. What are you talking about? I don't know what this person's talking about. Do I buy into the political system? What kind of question is that? No, Eric, I am American and he's not my president. Remember when Obama was president? You guys were like, not my president. Trump's not my president. I'm doing exactly what you guys did when Obama was president. Deal with it. He is not my president and never will be. I won't even acknowledge him when he's gone. That pisses me off. You don't have the right to say that. He's the president of the United States. He's just not mine. That's all. Deal with it. Did you guys enjoy this live tonight? If you enjoyed this live tonight, say yerp in the chat. If you enjoyed this live tonight, say yerp in the chat. If you didn't enjoy this live tonight, say I'm a doink, meaning you. If you didn't enjoy the live, say I'm a doink. If you enjoyed the live, say yerp. Say yerp, yerp, I did. I did not support Obama, but he was still my president. Good for you, Eric. I don't support criminals, okay? This guy, Dan Jellin, Chad, whatever your name is, you say I'm not a patriot. I'm more of a patriot than you'll ever be. So, I'm more of a patriot than you'll ever be, dude. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think we're going to bounce. But I appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed the live. Love you. Hope you have a wonderful night. Robbie says you suck. I don't think I suck, Robbie, but you may not like me, but I don't think I suck. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, everyone. Make sure you guys hit that follow button. Don't forget to hit the follow button. Make sure you subscribe so that way you know when I go live. Hit that subscription button. And please hit the thumbs up button on the way out. Would appreciate also hitting the share button on the way out. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning on TikTok, bright and early. And I will see you then. All right? Love you guys. Have a wonderful night. Take care.